Good morning. So, exciting day today. It is not only the start of our outside sessions again, beautiful day for it, but also we have our 5-day kickstart challenge, which is the task one is now gone live. So our task one is more about self-awareness. So that's now in our group. So if you are in the kickstart, get on with that now. It's a short task. Morning, Jill. Workout one is also up as well. So that is now live, and that's all from home, of course. So on to today's topic of healthy aging, and this come up because you may have seen, but yesterday Helen, who's done amazing on the program, she's gone from not doing a push-up to now doing 20, which is amazing, and it just cast my mind back to remember that when people start, everyone has the same thing, like, there's no way I could do a push-up if I mention a push-up. And it's my fault, really, sometimes, that I just say push-up and everyone has their own meaning of what a push-up is. Because, like, a lot of people will start on the wall or on the side, like the kitchen side, just leaning on the kitchen side, coming up, or leaning against the wall, pushing up. And I guess the key thing to remember when you think, there's no way I can do that, is that the only difference between them and you is that they just started before you. The only difference between them and you is they just started before you. And just remember that, because, going back to when you first tried to walk, you might, you wouldn't have remembered, but you could look at someone else and think they're walking. Why aren't I? Now, when it comes to snacking, hunger, and healthy aging, I'm going to share the podcast again I did with Richie Kerwin. Richie Kerwin is a researcher he's doing his PhD at the moment, and he's looking into muscle aging, protein diet, higher protein diets, and resistance exercise in particular in cardiac rehab patients. So looking at people who've had cardiac events and looking at how higher protein diets and also resistance exercise helps their recovery. Because we know now that in terms of aging well, independence, quality of life, how important muscle is, not to mention its potential impact on diabetes, etc. And mental health, because at the end of the day, if you have your independence for longer, you're probably going to be happier. So, and I guess it's come up a lot more, especially in the last few days. I've received some messages about other people being actually just more aware of it, because I know it sounds really, really doomy and gloomy, but being worried about ever being in a care home, and I get it. Like, that was genuinely a message I had yesterday and a discussion I had, and I guess it stemmed from the presentation I did at U3A, University of Third Age, before this pandemic, of course, on this subject. Now, there's one thing that I would just want to share with you now, maybe two, and I hope maybe you've got something already from this, which is in terms of snacking and hunger. Like, one thing you can do today, which will help healthy aging, snacking, hunger, is to try and get protein at every meal. Something I see so often is people saying that they're hungry or they binge at 4 o'clock. But when you look at the composition of their diet, it's often not as balanced as people think. So you might think, and there's nothing wrong necessarily with cereal, but there's not much of a balance there because there's not much protein in there. At lunch, if someone has a bit of a sandwich and crisps, it's again really geared towards carb and fat rather than protein. And if you're looking at getting protein each meal, so that could be a hand size, that could be yogurt, it could be dairy, that could be, so it might be like yogurt and berries in the morning, it could be meat, eggs, it could be soy, it could be tofu, it could be beans. Trying to get a portion of that at every meal, your physiological side of hunger is going to be met. So you have that physiological side which will drive you to eat. And if you're actually hungry, haven't hit that, because we know that protein helps lower your hunger hormones quicker than anything else. If you haven't hit that, and then you're faced with convenience food around and you're hungry, then you're going to be more likely to binge. Throw a bit of stress, a bit of tiredness on top of that, day-to-day life, and it's going to be difficult. Now, you might then think that, but I'm not sure I can do that. And that's where it comes into that personal side of it. So Do comment below if you're struggling for ideas, by the way, in terms of breakfast, lunch, dinner, and we can discuss that. But anyway, because something that will come up a lot also is, I'm not sure I can keep it up. So if someone's going, wow, we often say, I'm not sure I can keep this up, or how long I can keep it up for. And just know that sometimes this is a bit of a voice in our head, if you like, that likes to jump in and almost, I guess this is a bit of a habit / human's ability to, just because we haven't done something before, like stick to something, that it won't happen again in the future. It's almost like we have a little voice going, I can tell the future because of what happened before, when actually that voice knows the future just as much as we do, but yet we choose to believe that. And actually, if you're doing it now, because we have to worry about the future, if you're doing it now, and you're always in the present moment, you're always doing it. So what happens in 3 months? Well, you're doing it now. So in 3 months, you're still doing it now, because that time's now. If you always think of the present moment, in the present moment, I'm doing my best for me. And then it's like, yeah, but sometimes I don't deserve it. If you feel like you don't deserve it, anyone said that? Morning, Stella. That comes up a lot. A lot. Now, consider this before I end this. Is that if you don't deserve it, technically, what does that mean? Because, morning, so if you don't deserve it, what about if you flip that around and say, I don't deserve to self-sabotage? And consider this, because when I ask the question, who benefits from you not self-sabotaging, then it comes into, okay, family, friends, work, I'm better to be around, I spend more time with my family because I'm more productive, all these things. Okay, then it's like, okay, do they, your loved ones, deserve, and this can be quite deep now, do they deserve the best version of you? Yes. So then, in the short moment, can you say to yourself, in the short moment, in this present moment, I am going to be the best version of me. And if you just hold on to the present moment that whole time, you're in control. So only when you go to the future, which has loads of what and ifs, that we worry. And I get it. It's been a weird time, and it is a weird time. You don't know, what's going on with everything. It could be like, I know some of the ladies have gone from not working to now working, and all that stuff, which is a good thing, of course. But in terms of like snacking, it can change a routine. But then we focus on it when it happens. We come up with solutions rather than beating ourselves up for something that there's no way we could have trained ourselves for, right? Going into lockdown, my habits are rubbish now. I should have trained myself for this lockdown moment. So I hope that helps. Jill says, since being on your program, I've cut out 95% of snacking. Wow, awesome work. Well done. And it's not always going to be easy, don't get me wrong, but keep asking, what do I learn from that? And I hope that helped with the protein, with the self-sabotage talk. Let me know your biggest take home from this. Always good to see. So any questions, do let me know. And I am now off for our first session of the day. So we have box and bums from home, and then we also have our outside sessions. Fun. So have a lovely day. Any questions, do let me know, and speak soon.